The Calgary Flames are no longer unbeaten, and the team has been bitten by the injury bug. That's a double whammy of not so great news, but not to worry. It's not all bad as we have an amazing prospect update, and the team still has not lost in regulation. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and let's hop right in and talk about how the undefeated season is over. No, it's not what we wanted to be talking about at all, but I know it's a couple days ago now. It was on Saturday night, but this video obviously is coming out on a Monday, but the Flames did take their first technical L of this season with a 2-1 loss in overtime over in Seattle. Such a boring game of hockey. Not many shots, not much action, a lot of tight checking. It just really wasn't all that great of a game, but there were some highlights, obviously, as Dan Vladar played arguably the best game of his entire career. What a heater he is off to this season. Incredible that, somehow another Flame is playing so good in their contract year. It's strange when that happens, but no, definitely some highlights to take out of it, and we are going to dive into some of them with the help of an article here from Daniel Austin. Why not get someone else's perspective on it? So Daniel Austin, obviously of the Calgary Herald, 3 takeaways from the Flames' overtime loss to the Kraken. It was a slight setback for this Flames team, although not one that will likely do much to kill the good vibes that are coming from the locker room. Yes, they still do not have a regulation loss, which is very, very exciting. So still, 9 points out of 10, not a bad start to the year for a team who was supposed to be, pretty much bottom 9 or 10 teams in the league, if not worse. But let's hop in here. So the reality for the Flames is that they aren't perfect anymore. The way this article starts is saying they've had a great start to the season, but the reality is they aren't perfect anymore. There will surely be some frustration with the way Saturday's game ended, though. Mistakes cost them, even if coming away with a point from an away game isn't something anyone is going to lose sleep over. The Daryl Sutter point. They'd taken the lead in the first period on a power play goal from Blake Coleman, only to let the Kraken back into the game by allowing a 5-on-3 with Huberdeau and Kevin Ball-Goat in the box midway through the second period. Chandler Stevenson made the Flames pay. A careless turnover by Nazem Kadri in overtime sealed the deal, with Jordan Eberle taking the 2 points for the Kraken. So there's your kind of, game summary of what happened in case you forgot. So let's get into the 3 kind of takeaways here. First of all, this is all you could ask for. The battle for the Flames starting job in net doesn't seem to be giving us any clear answers just yet. We mean that in the best possible way, though. So far this season, both Dustin Wolf and Dan Vladar have been responding to the competition by stepping up. Neither of them have had a bad game yet. Dan Vladar had a bad first period against Vancouver, but was strong the rest of the way, and the Flames ended up taking that W in Vancouver in the season opener. Other than that, there really hasn't been any moments where you're like, oh my goodness, that is terrible. Take away his starts, give them to the other guy. So it's great to have this problem kind of going. Wolf was great against the Chicago Blackhawks on Tuesday. On Saturday, it was Vladar's turn, and he didn't disappoint. He stopped 21 of 23 shots, but that stat line doesn't really tell the whole story. Vladar was the Flames' best player on the night and the main reason why they found themselves going into overtime. He made stops on a couple 2-on-1s in the first period, was aggressive with his poke check throughout the game, and showed great positioning and rebound control from start to finish. And again, that's all you could really ask for from a goalie. That checks a lot of boxes that a lot of goaltenders in the past would not check all in one game, let alone at all, really. But such a great start from Vladar. So once again, you'd assume the next start, which will be tomorrow night against Pittsburgh in Calgary, would probably go to Wolf again. Seems like, a home game, we'll throw Wolf in a way, get Vladar in there. But you'd assume that they're going to keep this 50-50 thing going. I mean, obviously, I'll give an update if that changes in tomorrow's video, but very, very interesting to see here that both goalies are playing so well, and it really is all you could ask for. Second, the giveaway in OT, a big takeaway. Kadri's had a great start to the season, so it's not worth getting too angry about his turnover on the game's final play. It was a moment he'd probably like to have back, though. The veteran collected the puck deep in his own zone and took off. A few strides later, he tried to make a move towards the middle of the ice, only to have Eberle strip him of the puck. A couple seconds later, it was game over. So yes, it was a terrible decision, a terrible giveaway, but his book is now out, and I can't wait to cop that and give it a read from start to finish. But either way, it was kind of a a sloppy way to lose, shall we say. And look, if the move had worked, it would have been great. But hindsight's 2020. That's not what happened. Just a terrible mistake there by Kadri, a terrible play. And the giveaway did lead to the Flames losing their unbeaten season. Could have been 82-0. The third one here, the third and final one, is that Coleman opens his account, which is great. I'll be honest that it caught me off guard when the commentators for Saturday night's game said that Coleman's goal was his first of the year. He's been having a strong start to the season, and after scoring 30 last year, this naive reporter assumed he'd already potted one. Turns out that Coleman did open his account on Saturday, and it was a nice heads-up play to fire a shot at the net through a crowd late in the first period. It was a great goal, final 10 seconds, and it's great that Coleman is now on the score sheet. Hopefully he can start replicating what he did last year. The road to 30 has begun. He's got a ways to go, but it is true. He has had a good season. That line has been interesting. Some games they look great. Some games they don't look great. Obviously, Coleman, Backlund, and Zary, of course, is who I'm talking about. And Zary has been really good. Backlund hasn't been amazing, I gotta be honest. And Coleman has been pretty good, so great to see him on the score sheet. Hopefully he can pot at least 29 more as the season continues. But let's get into the bread and butter of this video and talk about this big prospect update we have. It was requested, and I'll get into that in the comment of the day. But the prospects is something to talk about right now. And we'll start with the Wranglers, of course. This is the AHL scoring leaders as it stands of right now. And look at that. 3 Wranglers at the top, tied at the top with 8 points each. And if you take away the last game, you can really throw Dewar out of there, and it's just Pelche and Karen. So Karen's 7 goals already on the year in just 5 games. I believe he had 7 goals in 4 games, so that's even better that way. But he is scoring like crazy. You need a scoring center to come up. Why not Karen's? And he's one of those guys who, he lost a season of junior, I believe, from the OHL due to the pandemic, of course. So he didn't get to showcase his full ability, but it might be a bit of a steal here for the Flames having Karen's now playing so well. And we've already seen Kirkland come up, and that's been a great story. But hey, maybe he goes down and you bring up Karen's for a game when you really think you want some scoring. So great that he's doing well. Walker Dewar, of course, he has 5 goals, 3 assists. He just got a hat trick in the last game, so that obviously inflates the stats, but still unbelievable stats through 5 games. And then the main man we want to highlight here, because that's the people who Flames fans really care about, Jacob Pelche. He has 8 assists, obviously leads the league in assists, with more assists than any other player has points other than the couple other Wranglers. But he has been so good. The debate then becomes, should he come up? And so far, it looks like the answer is no. It kind of seems like Conroy is only going to bring up Pelche if Pelche is fully ready to play the rest of the year at the NHL level. Let him develop even more. Let him just dominate in the AHL. Bring that confidence up. You do not need to bring him right away. I know a lot of Flames fans are asking for that, but why not just kind of let him cruise in the AHL, find his game, and then hopefully come up and be his best possible self. And like I said before, Conroy probably wants him when he can stick at the NHL level, not just to bring him up for a couple games, kind of a filler for injuries like a Kirkland has been. So great to see that they are playing this well. If we take a quick look at the rest of the leaders on the Wranglers, certain players doing obviously pretty well. We've got Clark Bishop with a point per game pace right now, same as Dryden Hunt. I think he hit 200 AHL points this year, which is fantastic for him. Lucas Siona with a goal and 2 assists, and Sam Morton with a goal and 2 assists. So not bad starts overall for some of these guys. The Wranglers are doing quite well, which is always exciting to see. I know Devin Cooley obviously got the shutout in the last game, which is so good for him as well. Maybe we'll see him at the NHL level. Apparently we have 3 unreal goalies, which is not a bad problem to have at all. The other prospects we want to mention are, of course, the guys still in juniors. And the main man, of course, is Zane Parekh. So if we take a look here at, these are the top scoring defensemen in the OHL so far this season. And no, Zane Parekh isn't, totally away like he was last year. And obviously Bruce Stevich was as well. But he is 5th. So you go down the list there. He is 5th on that list for, of course, Saginaw, and he's got 3 goals and 6 assists for 9 points in 8 games. So again, over a point per game. Maybe some people would want him to have more, obviously, especially on a Saginaw team that's pretty good. just won the Memorial Cup, but he has not been playing bad. If you haven't seen any Parekh highlights, which I wish I could play here, but if you haven't seen him, go check him out. He had a great goal the other day, and just overall is playing really well. So if you expect him to have, 2 points per game, just bump the brakes a little bit. He's still playing really good, and I'm sure he'll just find his game even more. The other man I wanted to mention big time from juniors is this here. So this is the top scorers in all of the OHL. And once again, if you go to 5th, that's a great number for the Flames apparently. If you go to 5th there, Jacob Battaglia could have been a draft steal potentially in this most recent draft. He has been incredible so far on a not so great Kingston team. He's got 7 goals and 9 assists for 16 points in just 10 games. He is playing so well. We'll, of course, keep our eye on him, but that could end up being a huge steal. And, of course, the Flames still have some other really good players they drafted in this most recent draft. It could go down as the best draft in NHL history. And, yes, of course, I'm getting ahead of myself. But there you go. Great prospect update. They're playing insanely well. Hopefully it continues, and maybe that means the Flames will be that much better. But let's wrap this one up with the comment of the day, as we love to do. And as I kind of mentioned before, this one is almost as a thank you to for inspiring this video, getting the prospect update out there. And of course, it comes from our boy Shane. And Shane said, "Hey Mark, how about a prospects update video?" Well, here you go. He said, "Cairns and Pelts are tearing it up with the Wranglers, and maybe a Parekh and Juniors update. After tonight's game, we have a couple days between games, will be a good time to do it." You are absolutely right. Maybe you should hop on the channel because you clearly are very good at scheduling, and I genuinely do appreciate that, Shane. I appreciate the idea, but there you go. And again, the prospects are doing great. I know the season is no longer unbeaten. I know we've had some injuries, but the vibes are still high. We absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.